Curry lover Sean here and everything. I plan to do a series of different horse videos or commentaries and talking about my experiences, what I studied in horsemanship, and when I did stuff for horse grooming apprenticeship, and talk about different stuff with horses or the units of what I studied about horse care and anatomy and all this and that. And as someone like myself, for the 5 years I've been, doing with riding and different stuff with cart and ground driving and understanding the horse, I've come over time to understand there are some things that I'm kind of no nonsense about. I've got to learn over the years, or the 5 years I've been working with horses, and some things I've noticed, I don't care for some of the unorthodox practices of smacking or using of the crop, head shying, or spurring. I find that sometimes it's a very unnecessary use of practice that you don't need to be doing on a horse. If one is to understand the horse, one has to act like a leader to know your horse and understand why is your horse acting a certain way. If we always involve around just using something like a method just to hit the animal, we're not really understanding their behavior. Is everything always about reprimanding an animal, the horse? Or do we not know what our horse wants from us? Do we not understand why we train our horse for what we want it for? So I'll be doing a series of different, commentaries about talking about what I've learned and the understanding of behavior and certain things. But as for myself, I'm kind of a no-nonsense what I've learned over the couple of years I've been doing stuff in environments that I consider to be toxic and I didn't care for and what I've seen. And I'm not afraid to speak up on it and talk about it. Because, we all have our opinions, what we feel with what we work with horses. But one is to be a leader, one has to be a positive leader. As Mr. Miyagi once said, no such thing as bad student, bad teacher. Teacher say, student do. Just like a leader. If leader doesn't show what the horse wants it to do, the horse becomes confused. And we have to be a leader if we want our horse to understand us. So, and I'll tell you one thing. Crops and spurs are not meant to be a punishment for the horse. They're there to reinforce what the horse needs for the natural aids if the natural aids do not work. They're not there as an instrument to be for punishment. They're there to reinforce the aids, that the natural aids may not work. Then that's why you have the artificial aids. That's what they're for. The spur and the whip, or the crop. That's what the artificial aids. And, like most training methods, you want your horse to want it to do what you want it to do. If, you just going around using these techniques and you're not asking your horse what you want it to do, they're just not going to do it. And I think people abuse it too much. And the same with hitting. What's the point of hitting it? You wouldn't do that to an elderly person in a nursing home now, would you? There are liability suits to that. If one is to be a true horseman and not want a relation with their horse, you need to know your horse and love your horse. Build a relation. The trust is there. You have to build the bond. You understand the unpredictableness of the animal, but then you have to build and relate that bond and understand the unpredictableness of the horse and know its beauty and understand when it does and be prepared for that. And then you have to understand your horse and work with it. And that's one of the things I understand. And as myself as a horse person, I love it. I may not own horses, but as someone who loves horses, I love them to death. It just makes me want to train even more. I've experienced a situation where a horse reared up once, and that's the first time. You think a small horse is something. Well, who knows what a bigger horse would be like. But small horses too, miniature, doesn't matter if it's a pony, heavy horse, whatever, they could pack a wall up and be very forceful and they're powerful. And it could be a matter of life and death sometimes. That just makes us even better to understand our horse and want to work with them even better. And I'll be doing a series of videos on this and talking about the 12 units that I've learned about horsemanship. And hope you enjoy it. From Curry Lover Sean.